Really, from the moment COVID-19 left the lab in Wuhan, wafted skyward, politicians in this country have been busy awarding themselves extraordinary new powers. Now, we've chronicled the growing egomania of our political class pretty extensively on this show over the past year and a half. At various times, we've described these people as authoritarians, even fascists in our hotter moments. But in retrospect, language like that turns out to be inadequate. Those are political terms, so they don't really capture what is essentially a theological phenomenon. Our leaders are doing things that previous civilizations permitted only their gods to do. Now, the Aztecs may have committed cannibalism and human sacrifice on a mass scale, but in their defense, they did it in the name of an all-powerful deity, Xepetotec. Our leaders don't even bother with the middleman. They have no gods. Our leaders issue edicts in their own name and then expect those edicts to be followed as commandments. The most recent example of this comes from the state of Pennsylvania and its Democratic governor, Tom Wolf. Now, Wolf is a reedy, balding man in his early 70s. If you look at him, you might think he's a retired middle school Spanish teacher or a greeter at Whole Foods. Nothing about Governor Tom Wolf screams, Aztec war god. But beneath the cardigan sweater, that is exactly how Wolf sees himself. On Monday, the governor announced that he is now so powerful that he has the right to determine what his subjects say to one another during sex. The exact words. Tom Wolf has written dialogue for other people's sex lives. And if they fail to read that dialogue precisely, they are guilty of a felony. It's a pretty amazing demand when you think about it. If you're over 30, you probably recall when liberals used to fret about politicians trying to get into our bedrooms. At the time, it seemed like kind of an overstatement, but not anymore. Tom Wolf is already in your bedroom. He just barged right in. He's staying right there at the dresser, watching. He plans to supervise every detail. On Twitter, Wolf explained that he intends to, quote, enact affirmative consent standards for all sexual activity that might take place on college campuses in the state of Pennsylvania. What does that look like? Wolf asked rhetorically. Quote, we must move from no means no to yes means yes. Without an affirmative yes, it is sexual assault. In other words, read our script or we will charge you with rape. In case there's any doubt about what Wolf's Law requires, the bill specifically notes that silence does not confer the right to, quote, engage in sexual activity. You're not allowed. So going forward, more than 700,000 people in the state of Pennsylvania will be legally required to talk during sex. Yes is the word Governor Wolf wants to hear. Yes! But to be clear, not yes uttered in some breathy way with your eyes rolled back. No. Governor Wolf demands to hear yes spoken in a forthright, declarative manner, as in a deposition. So how is the governor ever going to make sure that this actually happens? That's really the question. Laws without enforcement are mere suggestions. But Aztec war gods don't make suggestions. They issue decrees. So in order for Tom Wolf to verify that kids across Pennsylvania are using Tom Wolf-approved language as they roll around naked in their dorm rooms at 3 in the morning, Tom Wolf is going to need to go farther than any governor ever has. He's going to need to see the tapes. In the name of public safety, nubile young college girls from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia are going to have to email their homemade naughty videos directly to Governor Wolf himself, most likely to his private Proton mail address, just to be certain that this important new law is being followed rigorously. Tom Wolf's a busy man. He's the governor. When you're in charge of the intimate personal lives of an entire population, you don't have a lot of time left over. But in this case, Governor Wolf will make the time. Governor Wolf will watch these videos, every one of them. That's his duty. And in the age of Corona, it's also his right. We should let you know that we invited Governor Wolf onto the show tonight. We wanted to know which other sexual techniques, positions, or safe words he will be mandating in the coming weeks. His staff informed us that the governor was indisposed at the moment. He was locked in his private study watching something intently on his iPhone. Pretty creepy. We'll let you know if we hear anything from Governor Wolf.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.